The reason why you can't score any points in college football 26 is simply because you're using the wrong settings, or worse, you're calling terrible plays. Well, luckily for you, in this video, I'm breaking down 5 secret tips that will help you out tremendously and score more points on offense in college football 26. The tips get better as we go along throughout the video, so you're not going to miss out on any of them. Let's jump right into it. The first secret that you need to master is stop calling bad plays by being in a great offensive playbook. Let me show you one of the best that no one's talking about right now. Alright, and that playbook that I'm talking about here is the USC Trojans playbook. Alright, so we're going to come into bunch A strong offset, and we're going to obviously start with a bomb, a one-play touchdown. So the key with this is you want to make sure that you have your bunch on the wide side of the field, just like this, because that's going to give your receivers plenty of room, and you want Lemon, the B receiver, to be running towards the short side of the field, right? Now, this is a great bomb against cover 3, also works against cover 2. Obviously, a lot of people will just show you single high safety, which is a really great indicator that they're in cover 3 zone defense, all right? So really with this play, you're going to need time in the pocket. When I talk about bombs, I always tell you guys, make sure you have a check down available with the tight end drag in case the play breaks down. But you're going to put RB, the slot receiver, on a streak, and you are going to drag your tight end, all right? And we're going to just go ahead and take the snap. We have time to throw in the pocket. We step up, and we just need a little bit more time. But you see how Lemon is breaking wide open down the field, all right? We look at the instant replay, and we take a look at why this is the case, all right? We continue to step up, but look at this. The outside third defender on this side gets sucked down by the comeback route, and that's the key, because then that allows for Lemon to just fill into the void that man left, and we can just very easily pass the ball down the field. So for the sake of showing you this, I'm not going to hit my checkdowns. I'm just going to push the ball down the field. But like I said, if you call this play and you're not getting time to throw, that's when you really need to hit your checkdown. I mean, this is literally one of the easiest bombs I have ever seen here in this game. Like, it's kind of, I mean, I don't want to say it's rare, but like, to see like a play that's so good stock as a one-play touchdown. Again, it's the stock comeback route. This play's been pretty good for years in Madden, but you're able to just pull this man down. He never recognizes the skinny post, the S post as we call it, running over the top, and so then we're just able to pass that ball in that window. And obviously, I don't even think I need to show you guys, but obviously if they call cover 2, right, you're going to see how they're going to user this man in the quarterback spy, and so that's just going to open up this huge void in the middle of the field when you set up the same route concept, just because the comeback route's going to move that safety, and I'll go ahead and show it, why not? But you just get time to throw, and then you're just able to see how you have all that open room. You're able to break tackles, you're able to speed boost, and you're able to get into the end zone untouched for a touchdown. So it's like cover 2, cover 3, doesn't matter. It just torches zone coverage. It's a great one-play touchdown, and that's one that you certainly want to be adding to your offensive repertoire from the USC playbook. Let me show you another play that's really unstoppable. All right, so we're going to come into gun tray open, halfback strong, and we're going to call halfback direct. If you guys played last year, you guys know how annoying these plays are, these halfback direct snaps, because essentially you're not having to wait on anyone. You're not having to hand the ball off, go through slow animations, and this running back actually is kind of slow. He's kind of a power back here, so I would get more of an elusive guy. But honestly, you're still able to get out to the edge a lot sooner than versus a regular handoff, right? And it's also important to mix in, as I keep getting stuffed, maybe this is a bad look for me, but depending on the look that they give you, right? So right here, we're running trips, right? So they're going to align guys on that side, but sometimes it might be better to just go inside zone, go the other way. And I mean, maybe in the inside zone is what I should be showing. We break off a huge run. Maybe this should be the inside zone segment. And that happened to me last week on Madden too, where I was breaking stuff down and it was a different play that ended up being better. But really, this would be a look where we can call the direct snap because they don't have guys on that side, right? And there we go. We're able to rip off a big game. So it's like, you don't want to specifically just call run plays. Like, this would be another inside zone type of play call, right? You don't want to force a run just because, like, I mean, it's a cool run. It's really good for a specific look, right? Again, they're going to align all of their guys. They're kind of weak in the box. We just, win all of our one-on-ones in the middle, and so inside zone becomes the run that you want to go to. So really with this, direct snap versus versus inside zone, certainly not going to end on that one. But you're really just trying to make the read. Obviously, they're in 3 deep, and so you're just kind of able. I mean, if you want to cut back, you can. If you want to follow the blocks all the way out to the edge. But really, the 1-2 punch here in this formation with inside zone and halfback direct snap would be very hard to stop, because again, this would be another great direct snap look because you can get the ball out to the edge. So make the read, make the determination, but the USC playbook, one that's really hard to stop right now. Alright, being in a great offensive playbook is cool, but if you're not using the best offensive settings, none of this really matters. Let me show you the best ones you need to be using right now. Alright, so when we come into offense settings, the first one I'll show you is this one, auto pass protection. You want to make sure that this is turned on to base, because I'm about to show you what happens when you turn it off. Alright, so we're going to turn it off. We're going to come into any play. We'll see if this one has it. So this one gives you pass protection, empty pass protection, which empty's fine, but some plays when you call them, they'll look like this, where they're half sliding your line in one direction, which can be a problem actually, because look at this formation that they're in. If they shift their D line to the right, and then I don't know if they wanted to blitz their slot corner, right? If they just overload blitz you off of the left side, right? Off of the right side, and then just like send the slot corner, just something like this. This is going to be a problem for you simply because your line's going in the wrong direction. First of all, they let the defensive end come way too far upfield, and then they just let the slot corner come in free. And if you look on the on the left side, 72 and 59, they're really blocking nobody. I mean, they're double teaming somebody who doesn't need to be double teamed. But look at this man, how he just shoots in the backfield untouched. Eventually, he gets blocked by the guard. But then again, that just allows this man to come in completely free. We collapse the pocket very quickly on defense, and we get the quarterback on the ground. So really what I'm telling you is you don't want to use, you don't want to let EA set your pass protection. So when you come out in base protection, right, when you just use base protection, you're going to get a fresh start. There's not going to be any confusion with your line, and so you're much easier. You're going to be able to block a lot of these blitzes a lot easier. So even again, if they wanted to try to overload blitz you off of that left side, you're going to be much more equipped to be able to block this blitz. You see how everyone picks it up. The running back steps up. Now that's a shed, which sheds are a thing in this game, and there's nothing that you can really do about that. But you don't want to let screamers happen, where they're literally just screaming in your backfield immediately. You see the running back recognizes the overload blitz off of the right side, and we're able to pick it up. So really what I'm telling you with that setting is make sure that you have your auto base protection turned on to base so that you can just come up and block a lot of these guys. But now we come into placement accuracy, which is what a lot of people refer to as freeform passing. All right, and then you want to make sure you have your pass lead increase in small, radical speed in between 5 and 20. I have mine on 8. Really just get in practice mode and get a feel for, kind of what you want to do with your reticle speed. But freeform passing is really important because you want to be able to lead receivers in stride. All right, this is really the greatest benefit you get. You can put the ball wherever you want, and so when you call a play like this, you want to be able to put that ball out in front of that man so that he can just run after catch very easily and he's not having to turn around. All right, so when you use freeform, you need to make sure that you're holding the left trigger or L2 on PlayStation, because that's going to put the ball out in front. Right here, they're in man coverage, and so yes, we need to get that ball out in front of that receiver away from that hook zone in order for us to be able to complete that pass. Freeform is super important in tight window situations. Like if you just press the button, I'm not saying every time the ball is going to be behind the receiver, but honestly, like it's not rare that if you don't freeform a pass, like right there, that's a great example. You had to turn around when there was a defender, over there to, he had to bring that pass in. Now, luckily, he caught the ball for us still, but if we look at the replay, look at this. He's having to turn his body, and that's going to slow him down, versus if he just catches that ball in stride, it turns into a big gain. So same thing, we get that ball out in front of that receiver that time, and he's able to bring it in. Or no, I didn't even freeform that. I think that ball was still behind. I didn't even hold L2. We're going to try it again right here. Freeform, and I mean, he still put the ball behind him. So like, it's like sometimes it's just on your quarterback, like the ratings and stuff. But for the most part, it's like you're gonna be able. Ooh, they blitz. That's a great example of freeform, where you're able to get that ball out in front of the receiver just because they're in man coverage. You're holding L2, and you're gonna be able to catch that ball in stride. So those are the best freeform settings. Pretty important. Best offense settings: blocking, freeform, just because you don't want to be playing at a disadvantage. You want to understand all the advantages that you can possibly utilize for yourself on offense, and the best settings help you do that. All right, if you enjoyed those first 2 offensive tips, they don't even compare to what I have for you in the rest of the video. So go down below and subscribe, but also while you're down there, comment free. I'll send you a free guide to dominate college football 26 that you're not going to miss out on. Let's jump right back into it. All right, the next secret trick that I want to share with you is a way to salvage your plays when the defense, does a good job in zone coverage. Let me introduce you to the Playmaker feature. Alright, so here we go with the Playmaker. Couple things to understand. When you're Playmakering, you need to make sure you're holding the left trigger or L2 and then flicking the right stick up to tell your man where to go, alright? So they're in zone coverage right here, and here's another thing. You need to make sure that you understand that the game's going to Playmaker whoever the nearest receiver to your quarterback is. So if we call a play like this, obviously there's 3 streaks and 1 drag. So the drag is going to be the man that we're going to be Playmakering. So we're going to see good defense by them, and then you see how I was able to Playmaker that man up, and I could have thrown that pass and picked up a big gain. Now shout out to them for blitzing us, but it's like when they do play good defense, right, we're not going to have them blitz right here. They're trying to bring out all the tricks, but they're in, like, for example, cover 2. They have their hard flats on the field, they have their hook shaded down. Well, they're going to take away your drag, so now you're just going to have to Playmaker him up, but look at all that room. Right, look at all that room that's available once you Playmaker him. So it's a huge risk by them to actually play underneath and really aggressively underneath, because someone who understands Playmaker and is good with it and is able to react fast with it, it's like this is a challenge. Now, if they don't drop far back, right, or excuse me, if they do drop far back, they don't come too far down, just hit your drag, right? Don't get too Playmaker happy. You're only really trying to use this when you're trying to salvage plays, not necessarily you're going to telegraph it before the play even starts, right? So we come into another defense. Now this is very useful, is when you roll out. Right, if you have a rollout scheme, now when you roll out, you're going to be able to just Playmaker your man up, again, over the top of their hooks, over the top of their flats, and again, pick up a big gain. So really with the Playmaker, it's pretty simple. Hold left trigger, and then while you're holding left trigger, flick the right stick in any direction to tell your man where to go. Normally, you just want him to run straight up the field, but you can also Playmaker him backwards if you need to, like, avoid their user or something. But for the most part, it's pretty simple, right? If they come way too far down and they do a good job of taking away your routes and zone coverage, that's really when you want to, start to look at, Playmaking your man up. So again, you can do this from the pocket, like right here. That's a great example. He was about to run right into another defender, but you quickly Playmaker him up, get to a weak area, a hole in the zone defense, and you're able to pick up a big gain. So bottom line with the Playmaker, start using this to salvage more plays when you're on offense. All right, so again, if you've enjoyed any of those tips, don't forget to go down below and hit that subscribe button. I break down offensive tips and tricks just like this every single day on CFB 26. You're not going to miss out on any of the content. Let's jump right back into it. All right, the tip that everyone wants to know, BLT, how do you speed boost out of runs and breaks here in college football 26? Let me show you exactly how to do it. Alright, so USC isn't exactly the greatest team to do this with, because you really want a guy, this guy's actually 93 speed, which is great, but you really want high 90s or mid 90s in agility and change of direction. These guys have it in the 80s, but this guy does have 360 and sidestep, so he'll be alright to do this with. So I'm just going to pause the game here, and we're going to come into offense-only practice mode here, all right? So the bottom line with the speed boost is, again, you have to have the correct players. 17, the receiver right here, when I was trying to speed boost him, it wasn't as good because he doesn't have the type of ratings. But essentially what you're trying to do is when you're running, you're going to tap left trigger, and then you're going to already be running in the direction with the left stick while you're holding turbo. So it's really right trigger, left trigger, and then you're aiming your man where you want him to run. So we're gonna take this snap and just look at that. We're able to speed boost out of the run, right? And then you're able to kind of chain up some of these moves. Again, some bursts are going to be better than others, right? This guy, he's kind of having a hard time. Like the first one, I was able to do it very well. So we look at the replay. Like, this is game-changing, though. If it doesn't even work the rest of the run, the simple fact that you can take a handoff, speed boost out of it to get to the sideline faster, and then you're going to have the ability to spin. I always like to, for example, this guy has 360. So you want to spin with him. So I speed boost, and then I chain it up with a spin. Obviously, we're going to put defense out here on the field in a second, but we take it, we just speed boost out of it, and then we spin, and then we could, that was another good speed boost. That was another good one, right? And so you're kind of able, that was a pretty good one right there, where you're trying to change directions a lot with the speed boost. Don't get too speed boost happy. Try to chain it up with other moves, like I said, like the spin move, the juke move, right? So, or, I mean, like, because this guy can spin, it has a spin ability, I'm going to spin. But we're going to change it up right here, because last time I was aiming the left stick, obviously, to the left, to run to the left. Well, now I'm going to have to aim the left stick to the right. So now that time speed boost and then spin and then speed boost again. That's just a hard cut. That's another hard cut. Now I would just probably spin and then try to speed boost. So like some of these actually slow you down if you don't have the right, guy in the spot, or you're just not doing the move correctly. Again, it's not easy. It's not an easy move. I would say it's easy to get it right out of the handoff, like right there, and then like the first two moves are really easy. Right, but then after that, because like he kind of runs out of stamina, that was a good boost. Then we spin out of it, and then we're able to kind of hard cut. And so like you don't want to get too happy. Sometimes running forward is going to be your best friend, but there's going to be times where you're going to need to speed boost in and out of these cuts in order to make guys miss. So we get the defense back on the field here, and so this is what I'm talking about now. When you're actually on the field, there's a live defense on the field. You don't want to get too speed boost happy. You just need to pick up yards. I would recommend speed boost out of cuts. Like that was a good one where I was able to speed boost out of the cut. Now I should have hit the hole a little bit earlier to turn it upfield. But this is really good when you're trying to get out to the edge. Now, if your line doesn't block for you, bottom line, there's nothing that you can really do. Right? So, but again, I'm able to get out to the edge way faster, then I'm going to make that guy miss. So it's like, you can feel it. I hope you guys can honestly see it, the explosiveness that you're able to get in and out of these moves. But like, I can feel it. I'm getting out to the edge way sooner, and then I'm going to be able to make that, ooh, maybe if I had Platinum 360 there, I would have been able to make him miss. But again, you're able to get out to the edge way sooner, which is going to help you out tremendously. I'm actually going to flip this play and try to, do the move to the other side now, right? So again, flip the play, take the snap, boost the other way, and so that time a little bit weaker of a boost, but we're able to chain it up with the spin. So it's like chaining these moves together will certainly help you out. We go through it one last time right here, get out to the edge. Oh yeah, we can't end on that. But you can see the boost right off the rip, and that's very important. I would always boost out of every handoff. Boost, now I'm out to the edge, now I can spin, and now I'm able to pick up, a first down off of that. So the speed boost, very helpful. It's not just running backs that you can do this with. You can do this in the open field with receivers, with tight ends, but again, they just need to make sure that they have the right type of, ratings, abilities, and honestly, most of the time, only running backs have these type of ratings and abilities that can do it unless you're playing cut. So the speed boost, a very important move, and that's how you should start doing it here in CFB 26. All right, the last trick that I want to show you is absolutely going to transform the way you play offense, because you're going to start using RPOs in the most efficient way. Let me show you this secret RPO hack. Alright, so this is an RPO alert bubble right here, alright? And so this is kind of a weird run, but the hack that I'm going to show you is, you see how there's a bubble on Lemon, the wide receiver, right, number 6? Well, bubbles are great, but right there, he just gets a breakup on it. Like, they can more easily be stopped. Just by, making a couple of adjustments. But the hack that you can use is you're going to just put him on a route, right? So if you see that there's no man out there to the flat, you just put him on a flat to get him to break out to the flat sooner. And you actually have to hand I don't know why I didn't throw the ball. I tried to throw the ball to wide, but, him breaking out to the flat makes this better. Now, if there's a man out there, like right here, there's a potential that he just guards him out to the flat. So depending on the leverage, now I might put him on a drag, right? And you just instantly throw that drag in the middle of the field. Now, that time they had a man out there, so I didn't want to throw it. But like right here, we are, and we're just going to be able to, you see how we're able to get out to the sideline way faster than if we simply were to put him on a bubble. If we put him on a bubble, like I said, bubbles are good, but they can more easily be stopped. Now right here, this just looks like man coverage, so I'm honestly just going to put him on a drag, and unfortunately the ball gets batted down. So it's never like foolproof. Like there's nothing that you can really do to make it work every time. This is more man coverage. I really wouldn't call RPOs a whole lot against man. especially these RPOs right here. We're just going to hand this ball off and try to, pick up some yards on the ground. But especially when they run zone coverage, when that guy's not manned up, the flat is a great option because, again, you see how he's going to break out to the flat way sooner, and that's an example of the speed boost right there, where I was able to catch the ball and then speed boost out of that move because Lemon has the proper ratings to be able to do it and the proper agility and stuff, right? But you can also see how it's not just him, right? You can hot route the B receiver right here on his out route, right? And just makes this very easy, right? That's something that Aaron Rodgers used to do a lot in, with the Packers, with Devontae Adams, right? Where if you just see them in off-man coverage, instead of having him run that super deep out, just have him run like a 5-yard out. And then you can combine that with a flat. And then you can just kind of make the read, right? Right there, I see that the bubble's taken away. I quickly glance over there, and then I just look to my out. So honestly, you're creating kind of an unstoppable 1-2 combination right here with the flat and the out. And so we're just going to take the snap again. We're going to throw this ball out to the flat, and we're going to be able to pick up a big gain. So that's how I would utilize RPOs to be a lot better here than simply using bubbles, but actually start putting your man on a flat or any route, really. All right, if you enjoyed that breakdown of 5 secret tricks to transform your offense here in CFB 26, again, I encourage you to go down below, hit that subscribe button. You're not going to miss out on all the content that I drop every single day here on CFB 26. But if you want 5 secret tricks to transform your defense here in CFB 26, check out this video. I'll see you over there.